Now I am going to teach a micromeritics which deals with the science of powders, solid powders in the micrometer ranges. So this term was given by J.M. Delaval, and the study of fundamental and derived properties of the individual as well as collection of the particles. It is very important in pharmaceutical field, especially when we are dealing with the powder based pharmaceuticals such as tablets, capsules, bulk powders, and even in the filling of the capsules and syrups and reconstitution substances where we reconstitute the syrups when we make the powder. So we have to characterize the powders for its fundamental and derived properties. So what are these fundamental and derived properties we will be studying later on, and basically all the measurements for this are in micrometer, but other units can be of use in case of fine particles. So colloidal dispersions are the particles which are too small to be seen under the ordinary microscope. So the range of ordinary microscope is around 100 micron and zero point 0.2 to 100 micron. So these are lesser than 0.2 micron, whereas the particles of the pharmaceutical suspension and the fines are the particles that fall in the range of optical microscopy. So these can be dealt with the optical microscope. These powders can be characterized for its size by viewing it under optical microscope. Particle having the size of the coarser particle, tablet granules, and the granular salts, they fall within the sieve ranges, so you can sieve them to characterize the particle. Now these are the approximate size ranges of the pharmaceutical dispersion, which has this is from Martin Physical Pharmacy. The reference is Martin. So these are the micrometer things, micrometer scale range, where you can have the sieve sizes which are used for characterizing these powders, and these are the examples. The granules are the largest one, and suspension and the fine emulsions are the ones which have the lowest particle size. Now, what are the advantages when you control the particle size and the particle range? All the pharmacological properties, physical as well as chemical properties of the substances are under control, which can guide bioavailability and the physical stability of the dosage form at the same time. What is the application of micromeritics? The application is in release and dissolution. The particle and surface area are the particle and the surface area influence the release of the drug dosage form, that is administered orally, rectally, parenterally and topically, and the surface area brings intimate contact of the drug with the dissolution fluids in vivo and increase the solubility and the dissolution of the substances. Now, what is the activity, what is its effect on absorption and drug action? So particle and the surface area influence drug absorption and therapeutic action. Higher the dissolution, faster is the absorption, and hence quicker and more effective is the action. See, when you increase the particle size, when you increase the particle size, the surface area decreases. So with the increase in particle size, the surface area of the particle will decrease. So when the surface area of the particles and the particle decreases, these properties also decreases. So we need, for improving absorption, we need to reduce the particle size. Particle size needs to be reduced. Dose uniformity. For uniformity of the dose, we need to have an optimum particles in the manufacturing of granules which are required for punching of the tablets and the capsules, also the powders and the drugs and the excipients, the particle size of the powders which we are using to fill the capsule and which we are using to make the granules or the to be punched by the tablet should be uniform. Uniformity is the most important requirement for these things. Physical stability is also important. Physical stability is also important, and which is guided by micromeritics. Micromeritics is required to help to maintain the physical stability of the suspension and immersion. So size, smaller the size of the particle, if the particle size is smaller, so what will happen? The stability of these things will be more because there is no formation of stability of these particles is more. But in case of suspension, what happens? Very small particle size can form cakes. Caking is there. So you need flocculated system to improve the stability of the suspension. Factors which influence the particle size. What are the factors which influence the particle size? The one is surface area. So increase, more is the surface area, more is the therapeutic efficiency. Okay, so low solubility of the medicinal compound can be improved by increasing the surface area, because the contact with the dissolution dissolving fluid will be more when you increase the surface area. And how you increase the surface area? You increase the surface area by reducing the size. Now extraction, the time required for extraction is shortened by increasing the surface area of the contact. Okay, so you have to decrease the extraction time by increasing the area of contact. Now dissolution is shortened by the use of smaller particles. So when you are using the smaller particles, you get better dissolution. Drying, smaller the particle, faster is the drying, and faster is the time with which the moisture moves away. So drying of the wet mass will be facilitated by milling. Okay, now mixing, the smaller the size, the better is the mixing. The smaller the size, the better is the mixing. And lubrication also, the fine is the particle, the better is the mixing. So we can understand this, that when you reduce particle size, the drying rate increases, mixing is better, and lubrication is better. Factors affecting the flow properties of the powder. The flow properties of the powders are required when you are actually filling the dry suspension, you are filling the tablet, you are filling the hopper for tablets and capsule punching, or you are making bulk powder or insufflation or any aerosol filling of the dry components. So these flow properties are affected by particle size and particle distribution. Distribution is very important when we are talking about particle size. So we will talk what is particle size and particle distribution. Now what is particle shape and texture? Shape and textures are also affecting the flow property. Surface forces and flow activators are also affecting the flow properties.